I'm Aria Schwartz alongside Rachel Galligan, and welcome to the Winsidr Show, where it's all about the W. We are here. No more preseason games, no more free agency or off-season. The 2025 WNBA season is tipping off, and we couldn't be more excited and honored for our special guest this episode. So let's get into the paint. If you like our show, please consider joining our Patreon community, patreon.com/Winsidr. That's patreon.com/Winsidr. For less than a cup of coffee a month, you can directly show support for the hard work we do covering the W. And don't forget to see our amazing staff's written content on Winsidr.com. That's Winsidr.com. In preparation for this season, we have expanded our content on a variety of social media platforms. So please make sure you're following Winsidr on TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter, and YouTube. Welcome back to the Winsidr Show. We are floored to be welcoming our guest on behalf of DraftKings today, a three-time MVP, two-time Finals MVP, two-time champion, two-time Defensive Player of the Year, eight-time All-Star, 12-time All-WNBA, three-time All-Star Game MVP, and honestly, I could go on and on and on with the many more accolades. Without further ado, we welcome the one, the only, Lisa Leslie to the show. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you. I feel like I should clap, but I was clapping for myself. So thank you for having me.
We are thrilled to have you here. We are just as thrilled. It is the start of the 29th WNBA season. It feels like just a few years ago, like I was like a little girl, like watching the league start. This is unbelievable. Bird's eye view. I mean, you're the best person to talk to this about, but bird's eye view, looking back at the beginning of the league and where we are now, you were a part of that inaugural season back in 1997. What is your take on where the league is today and all the growth that we've seen?
I'm really excited about where we are, the growth, the hard work, blood, sweat, and tears that myself and many of my colleagues from day one put in has really paid off. And we're really excited. We had such the sort of that halo or cloud over our head, if you would, of, the existence of our league. And every year we were very unsure of the stability of the WNBA. So we did a lot of things. We gave a lot of our time and effort to try and make sure we would have a league around. And we love being role models for so many young girls. And we see them now. You talked about being a fan before we got on air, maybe when you were a kid. And it's like, the beauty of that is that we have so many more women in positions, and not just on the court, but in the corporate offices, executives that were fans of the WNBA. And so we're really happy. I'm so proud of the league and where we are.
So often we hear WNBA players get compared to NBA, those cross-league comparisons. And I think it does a disservice to the women that we are standing on their shoulders, the people who built the W. And so obviously I would love to ask you what current players you see have a little bit of Lisa Leslie in them, but also if you could just make a comparison to a modern day WNBA player to somebody you went up against, had some battles with, or even played with.
Oh, well, I really try not to compare all of us because I think we just bring such greatness depending on our positions. But if you're forcing me to, I'd say Asia Wilson and I probably play with the same type of motor and fight and ability to shot, block shots on one end, playing for our teammates, the efficiency of scoring from anywhere on the floor, whether it's inside or out. I probably was outside a little bit more than Asia has been, but she's continuing to expand her game. And then I think Nafisa Collier also plays with that sort of the same energy and fight. And the fact that she's really 6 feet or 6'1", but she blocks a lot of shots. She's an excellent defender. And she just makes that effort on both ends of the floor. I love seeing that in these players. And then when I just think about the hard work and the effort that so many of these players play with, it's hard to really compare because you look at Swoops and then you look at like a Kalia Copper. She kind of gives that similar vibe, energy. Her ability to get up and down the floor is similar. Her defense, playing both sides of the ball, but also a Ryan Howard. I don't know. I feel like we could probably find players that were very similar. But one thing I can tell you is I know that every player that if you know their name from the WNBA back in the day, they would have the same exact success that they had back then right now in this league today.
Mic drop. I love that one. Love that one. Okay, you won 3 MVPs, as we talked about in the beginning, 2 championships. You're a 4-time Olympic gold medalist. I see them. Is that them in the background right there?
That is them displayed here.
When you look back on your career, and I want to make this really open, when you look back on your career, you talked about even just some of the things you had to do to being out in the community and building the foundation of this league. From that to the achievements, to the Olympic gold medals, what are some of the most memorable or meaningful, moments throughout your career?
I would definitely say my teammates. I think between the coaches and the relationships that I still have with my coaches from high school, college, as well as in the pros. But I think also my teammates, just the camaraderie, the locker rooms, the laughs. And you have to also remember that my teammates from the W are also my Olympic teammates. So, the teammate, Dawn Staley and I, who played for the Sting, I see you have the Sting jersey there in the back. I mean, we were roommates since I was 16. So those are friendships that, they never die. Our 1996 Olympic team, we still are on a full text thread and staying in touch. And that sisterhood that we have created is just undeniable. We would never be able to break those bonds. We see each other and we fall right back into, where we left off, which is something silly or funny or dancing, and then retelling and reminiscing on stories. So I think my best memories, other than winning, I mean, I've won a lot. It's really the memories with my teammates, Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, I've had some amazing Olympic teammates that were also people that I competed against that I genuinely love. We really have a group of so many great women, but they're really great people.
That's awesome. DraftKings has a lot of exciting offers and promotions for WNBA fans this season. All new customers can bet $5 and receive $200 in bonus bets instantly when they sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook. So, Lisa, we're at a pivotal point in the W, right? We've seen expansions coming and more in the near future. We see CBA negotiations picking up steam. And I'm curious for you, you've experienced all of those things in the past. What are lessons or words of advice for the league as a whole or for the players as we enter this pivotal stage for the W?
Well, I think that's a great question. And as you just talked about and promoted with DraftKings, I'm just huge on us supporting brands that support us. And I think that's really important. The reason why DraftKings and why I've teamed up with them, the importance of giving back. They're promoting the WNBA. They're bringing visibility and fun. Of course, betting and betting responsibly is really important, but the fun that you're able to have, they're helping us get more visibility in the WNBA. And so I'd say as a whole, when I look back, we have to be very intentional on supporting these brands that support us, but also for our fans. Listen, we know that the women who are of the WNBA, also the women who are fans of the WNBA, usually are the people who are purchasing in their house and making a lot of decisions when it comes to what they're investing in. And so just being more intentional on supporting brands that support us. And I think the league's doing a good job of that. But we as fans on the outside now have to continue to do that as well. Support us because we can see betting on women. I don't mean literally, but literally is the right thing to do. And so, listen, we have some of the most educated women in the WNBA. They're excellent role models. And is everybody going to be perfect? No, but our slate, when you look at the laundry list of women who've come through this league and our level of education and our ability to help influence socially as well, and the impact that we have as advocates, we're amazing. So I've known that from day one, and I just love that it's continuing to be shown and be recognized here in 2025.
Well, and just to expand on that a little bit, I mean, we talked about, Coach, talk about DraftKings, you talk about all these different brands that we see partnering, whether it's with the league, whether it's with individual teams, that investment, also from ownerships too, and where the league is just like the bar just keeps getting higher, even with some of these practice facilities. Some of these, I mean, that used to not really be a thing. You guys were sharing different community centers, and like this was just a couple of years ago. But now you look at what the Las Vegas Aces have done, what the Seattle Storm have done. Basically, if you're not investing in that and you're not building those things and getting that investment just as a community and the fan base ownership, you're behind. I mean, even look at what the Indiana Fever are getting ready to build, trying to make Indianapolis the epicenter of women's sports. Can you just talk about some of that? Again, just the facilities, again, from what you saw to what we're seeing now.
Well, I mean, that's where you go back to, you talked about earlier, the comparison of the NBA and the WNBA. Just being treated, with the idea of what do these women deserve to be at their best to be able to perform. Obviously, and on many occasions, even playing for the Sparks. First of all, let me just say, I was so thankful to Dr. Buss to buy the Sparks, to allow us to play in the same exact gym as the Showtime Lakers and the Los Angeles Forum. And then for us to also move to back then the Staples Center. Like that was groundbreaking opportunities. So we were very thankful for that opportunity. But yes, of course, you want a little bit more. We were able to share the Lakers facility, practice facility, have our locker rooms and the bath and all of those things. But as you see the growth of it, it's like, hey, have you ever thought about the women having their own, And that was sort of like, nah, no one had really thought that was necessary because some of those facilities are empty when the men are gone over the summer. And so I think initially it all worked out because we were able to fill empty gyms and empty practice sites for the NBA teams. But what happened as teams start to branch off and lose connections to NBA teams, that's where the model had to change because now you got into these rec gyms and hoping people didn't walk through your practice. And, we ended up out in the community in some of these different locations that was not even safe at times. Yeah. And not in a way that you're trying to put the women in jeopardy, but we started to realize like, hey, we're not getting what we need in order for us to be successful across the board. And so I just love the fact that owners have stepped up to the plate. They see the importance. And then we have to give a lot of credit also to Unrivaled. Because the way that the Unrivaled League did it, the way that they invested in the women from a financial standpoint and from their needs, you saw that it could be done in a very classy way that really supported those women. And I said, when you see the success of what happened in Unrivaled, the WNBA, they have no choice. These owners have to either move or you're going to lose players quickly. Mm-hmm. And as teams expand in other cities, they're going to start to do it the right way from day one, which will attract more players as well.
Well, that's a perfect segue. And I'm glad that you brought up Unrivaled because I agree. I mean, it's not really competition, but it is pressure, the way it was done and the opportunity, obviously groundbreaking. But, you've seen a lot of markets in the WNBA, folding, moving, expansion, rest in peace to the Houston Comets. We obviously have 3 additional teams now with Golden State, Portland, Toronto. What markets would you like to see the league expand to?
I would love to have another market back in Florida. I know we had one in Orlando and one in Miami, the Miami Soul. It would be great to have a franchise somewhere, in Miami or it doesn't necessarily, I don't think Miami is the right city. Let me just say that, but Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, maybe some of those areas. I think it would be great to have something more in the South. I know Charlotte had a team. So it's like the closest team in the South is Atlanta. So it would be nice to have another team, maybe, in one of these locations. We had such a great time at Unrivaled in Miami where I was like, it's a good spot. It's a great location to be somewhere where you can have this type of weather and have these fans that want to really come out and support. Let's see, other markets. I think that I heard that Tennessee is doing something. So that may be an interesting market. Toronto is coming. So you already have New York. I know we had a team in Cleveland at one time. I'm sure they would love it. But I'm sure Houston, probably somewhere back in Houston would be great because all that the Comets accomplished and groundbreaking, winning 4 championships, it's unfortunate that that franchise doesn't still exist. And maybe that would be the one that would be really the full circle,
Yeah.
especially now that we're in 29 years. Wow. It's amazing. So that would probably be the full circle moment for the WNBA, for the Comets to be able to come back.
I won't hold you to not saying Denver. That's fine.
Oh, Denver. I love Denver. Denver would be great too. Yeah.
I gotta say, I love that you brought up Orlando because when they moved to Connecticut, that was such a groundbreaking moment for the league and the investment that we saw then. But now we've seen the league take leaps forward, and now there's a demand for more investment from the ownership groups. And obviously, there's a lot of news around that. I know we're running low on time, and I feel like I have to ask you. We're heading into this season. We've had 2, maybe 3 of the craziest off seasons in terms of player movement that I have ever seen. And I need to ask you, who are kind of your top contenders to win it all this year? If you had to pick 2 or 3 teams, or if you just want to put all your chips on one.
Well, it's interesting because again, DraftKings has this, where people decide who's the most bet on team to win the finals. And right now, Indiana is leading that charge. They're at a plus 350.
Really?
But I saw that they also had Phoenix Mercury up there. And I don't know. I really think Minnesota is so tough. Nafisa Collier, having a chance to watch Nafisa at Unrivaled consistently. And then you talk about McBuckets with McBride, and they weren't even on the same team, and she was a runner-up for MVP.
For sure.
You look at Courtney Williams, and I was like, realizing like, oh, they're all actually on the same team. Like that's a tough team. So, and they're well coached. I think Cheryl does an excellent job, as I think everybody knows. So Minnesota's always that team where you got to watch out for them. They're tough. I know Vegas has made some moves, and listen, Asia Wilson is Asia Wilson. Like the run for MVP between Asia and Fee, and then somebody else could just pop back in there. I mean, Stewie. So you just never really know, but you can't count Las Vegas out either because Chelsea Gray, listen, watching her at Unrivaled, who was also like, she just makes everybody better in all ways. Like she makes you want to be better. She makes you want to run harder. I mean, I wanted to play again watching Chelsea Gray. So I feel like Vegas always has an opportunity when you look at that 1-2 punch with Chelsea and Asia. So again, Caitlin is Caitlin. The effect that she has, her ability to pass, make players around her better. They've obviously on paper looked amazing. And so now you just got to put it together. I think they were 3-0 in the preseason. Listen, it's all lined up. The stars are lined up. Teams that stay healthy, the teams that win at home. That's one of the keys to winning championships. We used to say we don't lose at home. Like take care of home. When you take care of home, you get home court advantage. And that's very helpful. So those are probably my 3 teams that I pick at the top. Minnesota, Indiana, Las Vegas, but hopefully nobody come after me. Oh, watch out for Atlanta now. Atlanta's pretty good. Atlanta has Rye Time still, Alicia Gray, excellent two-way player. Both of them are great two-way players. And then you added BG who, BG can shoot the ball. Her percentage down low. She's really fired up. And I just feel like she's really rejuvenated, ready to dunk on somebody. But now she's knocking down threes. You just never know. I think those teams are just going to really come down to coaching. And we have a lot of new coaches who are in the league. So coaching could be the difference of like who's going to really win it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. You guys heard it here. One of the greatest of all time, Lisa Leslie. Thank you so much for joining us, Lisa. It's truly an honor to talk WNBA and all things women's basketball with such a legend of our game. Thank you for what you brought to this league, and thank you for what you continue to bring to our game.
And thank you guys. We really appreciate all the support and the coverage. We didn't have all this when I was playing, so I really do thank you guys for just, putting the WNBA on this pedestal and having this platform. So thank you.
Thank you.